Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Farah, aka Dr. Laurent. Today, I want to talk to you about something that many nurses usually say and feel. So, today I actually had a consult call with a nurse, and she actually used these exact words, basically feeling unseen, unheard, right, and underpaid. So, this is a common theme that a lot of nurses go through after usually being in their career for several years. So, I just wanted to talk about this particular subject and also why you as a nurse might be feeling this way, right? And also to know that there are many options beyond what you're currently doing and also beyond the traditional bedside role, and that you don't have to feel like you're stuck and keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? I also wanted to address another big thing. For those who don't know me, I'm actually the host of the conference Nurses Making Business Moves, and I talk to nurses all the time. And many nurses have gotten their tickets, and tickets are still on sale for the next 12 days. So I'll be going live every single day until then. But tickets will only be available for the next 12 days. February 20th is the last day, and then that's it, or until tickets get sold out, right? So you don't want to miss out. You definitely want to get your tickets now. But let's talk about if you've maybe heard about this conference and you're like, why should I go? Why should I attend? What's in it for me? And let's address three big pinpoints that may be stopping you from going to this conference, right? So for those who don't know about this conference, I've held it last year, and it's specifically for nurses, nursing students, any new grad or experienced nurse that's looking to pivot in their career or enter business, whether that's starting a side hustle or perhaps they have a business and they want to learn how to scale, right? How to grow, how to get to that next level. So this conference is especially designed for those nurses and also entrepreneurs that are not necessarily in healthcare, but in business. So this conference is the only conference that takes nurses and entrepreneurs, and really it's a community built to learn, to grow, to talk about financial literacy, wealth building, personal branding, and all the things that you'll learn, marketing, and things that are not really taught in nursing school, right? So it's really the core aspects of what it is for, to transition into entrepreneurship, if that's what it is that you choose, or at the core, how do you take the business pillars and the business acumen and translate it into your career so that you can grow in your current career, right? So let me know if you guys, where you're watching from, what city, what country, drop them in the chat. And then also, besides this conference, I've been a nurse for 20 years, for those that are new to following me. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. And if you're not following me, follow me for more content on entrepreneurship, personal branding, and career guidance. I'm also a nurse career coach for new graduate nurses and helped over 200 new graduate nurses land their dream role in the ICU, the emergency department, labor and delivery, psych, NICU, pretty much anywhere, right? And I don't have the same type of traditional narratives that, a lot of people will tell you. So many of my clients are getting jobs within the span of a week of working with me, all the way till about, 12 weeks. So I say, you land a role in less than 90 days. And it's not just any role. Recently, about 2 days ago, one of my clients just landed a job at Stanford, which was her dream hospital, right? Along with 2 other offers. So been doing this for about 4 to 5 years. And over the years, I've collected so much information, so much data, and that now I live stream about this. I create content around this, and of course, have built this business. And I also wrote a book called Nurses Making Business Moves. Money Moves, a Nurse's Guide to Starting a Business. You can also find this on my website, nursefair.com. So let's get into why you as a nurse might be feeling, you know, unheard, unseen, and perhaps underpaid. So, starting out your career, if you're not starting in the correct field of where you're really excited and really passionate about what you do, you might feel like something is missing. And that's when you start to get the itch of like, okay, I want to move on to something else, find a different specialty, maybe go back to school, but you're not quite sure what your next move is. So this is where this conference comes in, um, where you'll be surrounded with a community of nurses that can literally that weekend mentor you. You can ask questions to. Obviously, I'll be there as a nurse career coach and also business mentor. And over the last 4 to 5 years, I've also invested in my personal development and in coaching programs where I'm pouring back all of this into the actual conference. You'll also hear from other speakers that have built their businesses to 6 figures and 7 figures, right? So, what's in it for you if you do attend? Obviously, you're going to get clarity. You'll be able to ask your questions. And then it's not just being inspired to take action, but you'll have the direct step by step of what to do next. The other thing is you'll actually have exposure and proximity to these individuals. You will create real connections where you can actually have lasting relationships. So some of the attendees that have left the conference have actually gotten clients, paid clients, have gotten speaking engagements. Many of the attendees have been on multiple podcasts after attending the conference, which has put in their personal brand and also their business in front of thousands of people. So really, if you think about the ROI, the return on investment, that's really priceless to have your business and brand in front of thousands of people on, let's just say, a podcast or even speaking on a stage, right? So let's, get into why nurses are feeling stuck, why they feel unheard, unseen, and underpaid. It's typically because you're misaligned, right? You're not in alignment with your current values, the purpose that you want to make. And, you might lack some clarity to get into that directional phase where you can actually be doing things that you feel make an impact and that you have purpose. And I feel that a lot of nurses almost feel lost, right? Like not sure what to do next. Many nurses come to me and they're like, hey, I think I should maybe go back to school and get an MBA, or maybe I should go back to school and get another advanced degree like a MSN in leadership or education, or a doctorate, or become a nurse practitioner. And again, I'm a big advocate for education. I think it's great. However, I think you have to be very clear about what you want to do next and not just go back to school just to get a degree. Because I meet a lot of nurses that will go to NP school, become a nurse practitioner, and then decide, and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that this is how it's going to be. And I hate it. And they want to do something different. So, I want to make sure that you are taking the right path and not just automatically thinking, oh, the solution is just, go back to school right away. I want to make sure that you're doing it with purpose and impact, and you're really intentional about what it is that you want to do. So that's one thing. People feel stuck because you're not really sure, you're not clear on what to do next. Okay. And then underpaid, many nurses feel like they're not getting the growth or the recognition that they need. So some hospital systems have clinical ladder programs. So you might have to do a project. A lot of magnet hospitals have this. So you might have to do a project, and then you might get like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 more when you complete that clinical ladder, right? But that could take years in between. So many nurses might feel like, oh man, I'm doing all this work, but it's not reflective in the salary, right? And then the other thing is, there are nurses that are super educated, really bright as to, solutions, systems, operations. But when they bring these ideas forward, they feel like no one is really listening and implementing what they're bringing forth. So that causes a lot of frustration as well. And you feel limited, like you feel like you do have solutions, but perhaps the upper leadership is not really listening, or maybe they don't fully understand your clinical ideas because maybe they don't come from a clinical background, right? So this is really the reason why I created this conference, Nurses Making Business Moves, because it's more than just a conference, right? It's a community where people can come together, no gatekeeping, have clarity, and then obviously take real action and have transformation right after the conference. Attendees have left the conference being consultants, starting their own businesses, launching their own practices, private practices, becoming nurse career coaches. Some have written books, started creating content, started their own podcasts, or really their speaking career has really expanded. And that is just from literally one weekend. So it has been very transformational and very impactful. So let's shout out to everybody on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you happen to be watching the replay as well, make sure you drop any comments or questions that you have about business or potentially starting a business, or maybe if you're thinking about the conference and you're not sure. The conference is actually March 6th and 7th. It's on International Women's Day weekend, and it's in Tampa, Florida at the University of Tampa in their Entrepreneurship Center. And the Tampa International Airport is very close to the venue. The venue's only 10 minutes away, so you can just easily get in an Uber. We've also added payment plans to the tickets, so you can make your payment in 2 payments or 3 payments. And then we added a bring your bestie. Basically, if you bring another person, bring your bestie, you will save on the ticket as well. So you can purchase the ticket at the same time. And there's also a payment plan option for that as well. So if you choose to come with your friend and share a room, you can easily do that. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Drop them in the chat. Okay, so I wanted to just address one common thing that I hear, which is a big objection to, a lot of people not attending the conference. They'll say, well, I don't have time because I'm working or something like that, right? And this could be kind of like a scarcity mindset, stuck in survival mode, thinking, I got to work all these extra shifts, and I can't take the time to go and go to this conference, right? And strategy sometimes gets pushed to the bottom of the list, and it's like, hey, maybe I'll go to the conference next time. I don't have time this year, right? But if you think about it, it's only one weekend, right? It's only a Friday and Saturday, so you can literally just switch your shift with someone, have them cover your shift, whether you're a nurse practitioner or you're working bedside. Switch your shift. Tell someone, hey, I'll do you a favor and work 2 of your weekends. Just switch for me, and let me go to this conference or whatever. Because you saying that you don't have time to attend the conference now, so that you can actually have the strategies and skills to start implementing, whether it's you wanting to pivot, you to get clarity and have that transformation to do what's next and have the step-by-step guidance. What will happen is if you come to the conference, you're actually saving yourself time, because take me, for example, about 4 or 5 years ago, I had to learn all this stuff on my own. There's no real, one pathway to entrepreneurship or a business. So, it took me years to read multiple business books, marketing books, books on sales, uh, listen to podcasts, join business masterminds, have multiple coaches. When all this information could have been condensed into a much shorter time. So instead of you wanting to learn about business and how to start a side hustle, this could take years for you to get from point A to point B with lots of trial and error, confusion, endless Googling and YouTubing, when you can literally have this condensed for you in a weekend and get all the information right from the source. And when I say the source, it's not just from me, it's from also other nurses that have built their business from a side hustle to 6 figures, or a side hustle to now 7 figures, 7 million in revenue, right? And from other experts outside of nursing that are experts in marketing, sales, finance, content creation. We have, shout out to Trish Lindo. She'll be talking about content creation. She used to work for Oprah on her content team, and also used to work for LinkedIn. So she'll be specifically covering content. I'll be talking about personal branding and how that relates to your career or your business for growth. We have Precious L. Williams, who's coming back. She'll be talking about pitching and sales as well. She's been featured on Shark Tank, featured on multiple podcasts, and she's an international speaker. She speaks specifically on pitching and trains sales teams. She trains sales teams for Microsoft. She's worked for Verizon. These are huge companies, and you're learning from speakers like that. And also, not even just the speakers, but also other attendees that are that have businesses in, let's say, tech, have co-founded, software companies and things like that. So this is when I say, you might say you don't have time up front, but actually attending the conference will save you much more time, right? So that you're not left to do it alone. Okay, here we go. Here's Ebony, who's part of the pitch competition. Shout out to you, Ebony. She said, when will ticket sales end? So it ends officially on February 20th, Friday, February 20th, or really until tickets are sold out, right? So if they sell out before, but you'll have 12 days, but until tickets are left. So I would say get them early. I wouldn't wait until the 20th, because I can't promise that they, since there's limited seating, I can't promise that there'll be tickets left. But on paper, you have till the 20th, February 20th. Good question. So she was asking about the bring your bestie, and you'll actually save a couple $100 if you get your tickets together with a friend. Okay, so that's, I don't have time is number one. So I would say just, flex your schedule, ask somebody to pick up your shift, or, just take off one weekend so you can actually, in return, save years and save a headache from you trying to figure it out all on your own, okay? And then the middle one is, the second point is, I can't afford it, right? The real risk isn't really investing in a ticket. And then some people might be like, oh, I don't know if it's really worth the money to get a ticket, and the real risk is really staying trapped under a career that has a ceiling, that has a cap, and that really wasn't designed for you to build wealth, build brand, or long-term options. So, as I mentioned, people that have attended this conference have unlocked a lot of opportunities. Not only are they now more comfortable creating content because they understand the power of building a personal brand, being more visible, going in person to networking events, like obviously going to this conference, because one connection can really unlock so many opportunities for you, right? So I can't afford it is really, again, you're stuck in a scarcity mindset, and you need to move away from scarcity and think more, a growth mindset, and think about that it's really just an investment in yourself and an investment in your future. And again, the ROI, like I said, you're going to get that money back in other ways, right? Opportunities, connections, and potential clients that you'll meet, or maybe partners, or getting a podcast appearance, or even getting one speaking engagement, right? Can really take care of that ROI for you, right? And just building brand and getting the skills that you need to learn about how to create content, how to start building a personal brand, is really priceless, right? And the other thing, if you're saying that finance is an issue, you can, like I said, bring a friend with you where you can split the costs. We also added a payment plan where you can actually pay in 3 payments and separate it out so that you don't have to put it all at once. And then another creative way that you can do this, actually, one attendee had reached out and said, hey, I really want to go, but I don't think I'm going to be able to go. But I said, hey, why don't you ask around to different, companies or people that you know, and see if somebody is willing to sponsor your ticket. Basically, if you know someone who has a business, or that is, willing to cover your costs, they can do that for you. And actually, she did message me back and was able to get her ticket covered, right? Let's say maybe you know somebody that needs some type of marketing. I do have vendor tables for anyone that has a business that wants to get a vendor table, like an exhibitor table. This time you'll get the tables for 2 days, for the Friday and for the Saturday. So you'll basically have exposure for your business or for your brand, and whatever product or service that you're selling, you'll be able to do that if you want a vendor table. So definitely reach out to me. We do have a few exhibitor tables that are left if you are interested in getting one of those, okay? And then another point that a lot of nurses will say, well, like, I don't even know if this conference is for me. I don't even know what to do next. So I'm not really sure if this is, nurses making business moves is for me. Like, I don't have a business. I'm not sure if I want a business. But honestly, you don't have to have a business idea to attend. You don't necessarily have to want to start a business right away. And even if you don't have a business and you don't want to go into business just yet, this is really laying the foundation for you to start understanding business fundamentals, personal branding, visibility, and how that can unlock future opportunities, even in your current career. If you're trying to get into education, leadership, trying to get a promotion, or learn negotiation skills on how to increase your salary, these are all skills that you'll be taking away when you do attend, right? And you also will walk away with more clarity as to what to do next. Because the last thing you want to do is jump into, another degree that you may not necessarily want or are ready to go into, right? So, you'll learn about that. And then you just need exposure to different topics, different business models, and then real clarity. So then it'll start to make more sense as to what your next step should be, because you'll have the opportunity, like I said, to speak to other attendees and also to the speakers. And this is not your typical conference where the speakers will come on stage and then boom, they're gone, like they just run off. You will actually have the opportunity to engage, ask questions, because it's more of like a community, and you'll get to have conversations. Not because I've been at conferences that are super massive, they'll speak and then they'll just leave. You don't even have an opportunity to say hello or ask any questions. And then after every speaker ends, there's slotted time where you can ask actually a few questions. So you'll definitely gain clarity from this conference. So if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them now, or I'll go back later, look at the replay, and answer any questions that you guys have. And again, for those who are just joining, the Nurses Making Business Moves Conference, you can get your tickets now. They're available, and they'll only be available until February 12th or until they sell out. So you can go to nursesmakingbusinessmoves.com. You'll see videos and photos from the last conference and testimonials from attendees who came last time. And then you'll be able to select, if you want a payment plan, you can select between a payment of 2 payments or 3. Also, if you do want to bring your business your bestie, there is also a payment plan option for that as well. And another big question that I get all the time is, do you have to be a nurse to attend? Not necessarily. If you have, let's say you have a friend that's in real estate, she could come, or whatever. Anybody is welcome to attend. You don't have to have an RN. You could be a student. All are welcome. There actually will be students from the University of Tampa who will also be in attendance as well. Okay, I'm looking through TikTok. Let me know if you guys have any questions, because I'm going to log off in about 2 minutes. Okay, I don't see any questions coming through. And same thing on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And of course, LinkedIn. If you have any specific questions and you don't want to put them in the broad comment section, you can just direct message me on LinkedIn. That's where I check my messages often, and you can go there. Okay. And then if you are a new grad interested in getting into a specific nurse residency program, maybe you've been struggling to get your first role as a new grad, you're getting interviews, but you're not landing offers, or maybe you're not even getting interviews at all, and you're wondering what's wrong with your resume, cover letter, I have a free training that happens every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can just go to newnursejob.com to register for the free webinar. This is for any nursing student or new grad. Or you can go to the link in my bio and sign up for the next webinar. Again, you can go to newnursejob.com to get signed up for that free webinar if you're a new nurse looking to get hired faster and into your preferred specialty area. Okay, so since there's no questions, I'm just going to assume that you guys don't have any questions at this time. So if you happen to be watching the replay, just drop all your questions there. Make sure you get your tickets now before the deadline, because I don't know if there'll be tickets left. And again, where to get the tickets is nursesmakingbusinessmoves.com. There are payment plan options. If you want to bring your bestie, the instructions are there. You can actually get the tickets at the same time. You'll see it. And then again, it's March 6th and 7th in Tampa, Florida, at the University of Tampa in their Entrepreneurship Center. Only 10 minutes from Tampa International Airport. And as I mentioned, the people that attended the conference actually walked away starting their own businesses, launched private practices, consulting businesses, coaching businesses, written books, have landed gigs on stages, been on multiple podcasts, and have started to build their personal brand and really unlocked many different opportunities. So thank you again for watching. I will see you in Tampa. Get your tickets. See you soon. Okay.